What if I told you that 3,000 years ago, humans had already mastered a technique to stop time? Not with machines, not with magic, but with science. They could preserve a human body so perfectly that even after millennia, the skin, hair, even tattoos remain visible today. But how did they do it? What chemicals, what precise methods allowed the ancient Egyptians to essentially cheat death? Let's dive into the chilling, yet brilliant science behind ancient Egyptian mummification. And trust me, once you understand how it worked, you'll never look at a tomb the same way again. To understand mummification, we need to understand the why. Egyptians didn't embalm bodies just for fun. This was their ticket to eternity. They believed the soul, the Ka, needed a preserved body to return to after death. If the body decayed, the soul was lost forever. So in a way, mummification wasn't just a burial ritual. It was a desperate scientific experiment to trap the human essence in physical form. And here's where it gets fascinating. They didn't stumble into it by accident. They experimented for centuries. Early attempts failed miserably. Bloated corpses, rot, insects. Then something changed. They discovered a mineral, natron, a naturally occurring salt mixture found near the Nile. Turns out natron could do something extraordinary. It pulled moisture out of flesh like a sponge. That single discovery transformed death into preservation, and the process became an art form. So how exactly did they perform this ancient bioengineering feat? Let's break it down, step by step. And fair warning, this part gets a little gruesomely scientific. But hey, you clicked on a video about mummification. What did you expect? Step 1. Organ extraction. First, the embalmers removed internal organs because moisture equals decay. The brain? They yanked it out through the nose with a hooked metal rod. Yes, you heard that right. Through the nose. Why? Because they thought the brain wasn't important. Apparently, thinking came from the heart. Ancient Egypt, 1. Neuroscience, 0. Then came the lungs, liver, stomach, and intestines, each carefully extracted and placed into canopic jars. These jars weren't random. They represented the 4 sons of Horus, divine guardians of the afterlife. Step 2. Drying with natron. The body was then covered in natron for about 40 days. 40 days. Long enough for the body to lose every drop of moisture. Modern scientists compared it to desiccation techniques used in forensic preservation today. Except the Egyptians did it without laboratories. Step 3. Reconstruction. Once dried, the body was stuffed with linen, resin, and sawdust to restore its shape. Resins weren't just fillers. They were antibacterial, aromatic, and water-resistant. Think of them as the world's first natural preservatives, ancient formaldehyde. Step 4. Wrapping the body. Finally came the wrapping, a process that could take weeks. Layer upon layer of linen soaked in oils and resins. Each layer was sealed with prayers and amulets. Spiritual nanotech, if you will. But here's where modern science steps in. When researchers analyzed mummies using CT scans and chemical tests, they found something shocking. The embalmers weren't just ritualistic, they were chemists. Some compounds they used, like pine resin, cassia oil, and bitumen, have antimicrobial properties. These materials could kill bacteria and fungi that cause decomposition. In other words, they were practicing biochemistry before the word even existed. Imagine being so good at science that people 3,000 years later still can't figure out all your formulas. And I can't even remember my Wi-Fi password. But wait, it gets stranger. Recent discoveries show that certain mummies were coated with substances similar to what we now call antioxidative compounds, meaning they slowed cellular decay. They literally hacked the chemistry of death. And yet, for all this brilliance, there's a darker question. Why did they go to such lengths to preserve the body when they knew the person was gone? Was it just religion, or did they believe consciousness could somehow return? Some ancient texts hint at something unsettling, rituals to reawaken the deceased. It's as if they were chasing not just preservation, but resurrection. Modern scientists studying mummies have even found residues of mysterious plant extracts, substances known to induce hallucinations or altered states. Could priests have used them during ceremonies to make it feel like the dead were alive again? We can't know for sure, but that's the haunting beauty of it. Part science, part superstition, part something we still don't understand. Today we can clone cells, cryogenically freeze bodies, and store DNA for centuries. But we're still chasing the same dream, to outsmart death.